Greetings and welcome to the Equity.Guru Investors Roundtable. Really stoked to talk about this company today. It's Organic Garage. I'm joined by Chris Perry, who's just below, just above. Look at him, he's confused. TK Indochina, he's not sure where he is. He's in the middle bunk. And then on top is Vishal Tura. Organic Garage, I can tell you firsthand, I shopped on a regular basis at an Organic Garage, found that their stocking procedures, whatever that means, were a little whacked. Like you just go days and the empty shelves and then suddenly they get the rush. I don't know, that's an operational issue or whatever, but there's plenty of competition out there. If you're out west, there's nature fair markets, there's choice markets. Most of them across the board are overpriced. But I think as this kind of market continues to saturate, maybe for the consumer, some of those prices will come down a little bit. At least let's hope so. But from a business standpoint and from an investor standpoint, let's start with TK and a little analysis on Organic Garage.
Awesome. I'm going to take an alternative route for this one, where I want to look at one of the successful brands, not in the same space, but it's always good to have some sort of barometer. And I'm going to take Costco. The founder, Jim Sinegal, I might have butchered his name, but he had some fundamental laws of business. I know this is one of those nerd out events I'm going to have, but I feel he's one of those business leaders who should be studied in business school, but they rather focus on statistics. So he kind of lays out foundation for how Costco was successful, especially in such a competitive market, which Organic Garage is in. He says they need to focus excessively on their customers in this situation, and try to give them the highest quality service when they're inside the store and the lowest possible prices. At the time, he didn't know he was keying this term, but later on, investors started calling it shared economies of scale, where as the business grew, instead of retaining the profits for itself, it flushed back most of their money into its purchasing power with suppliers and other merchants to try to keep the cost as low for the customer as possible. And this is something that's in the core philosophy of Organic Garage, where they want to focus excessively on the lower price. So they call it everyday pricing, where you come every day, you know you're going to be matched with the low price. But the flip side here is it's organic products, which are some of the most expensive products to get elsewhere. So for example, Walmart and other brands, they mark up most of their organic products by 30%, whereas some of the lower price companies like Costco would range in the 15 to 20% markup. So they have that price differential, which might squeeze margins for the company itself, but it gets that customer loyalty that continues to come in because you're not going from high prices to low prices and having to match this and that. And that's one of the things that I think they do pretty well. If you go on their company website, you can see that if you match most of their product, it's pretty consistent with the low prices. The other thing he said you should focus on, and he has a fun story of it, is consistency across all storefronts. And he has a famous thing where if you go to Costco, after you spend $400, $300 on groceries, you can go to the cafeteria and get $1 hot dog. It's like a little gift, a little surprise or whatever at the end of the day. And when he stepped down as CEO, they wanted to change the price of the dollar hot dog. And I don't know if I can say this here, but he was like, don't effing touch the price of that hot dog. And since then, it's kind of been consistent across all storefronts with a high quality focus on customers. And that's it's a smaller scale version of it. Most of their stores are 10,000 square feet on average for Organic Garage, but they kind of focus on getting the best quality for their customers.
Two quick thoughts on that. They are attractive venues. I can tell you that firsthand. And secondly, if I'm dropping 300 bones on groceries, I want a free dog. That's all I'm going to say.
This is the first time I've heard of free hot dogs. That means I have a backlog of free hot dogs I should have gotten.
Well, it's $1. It sounds like it's $1.
$1 hot dog.
Hot dog. On the business front, I think they have a good model, and it's one of those companies that I feel if management is allowed to redeploy money into other storefronts, they can probably increase revenue if they are able to keep the brand as similar for each location.
I'll give a case similar to Rob. Here we have Nature Fairs Market, which is very similar. I mean, it's, they're not publicly traded, but I go there to buy, I used to go there to buy my vitamins and supplements and groceries and stuff. I live near the South Surrey, Langley sort of border, and there's tons of organic food areas and farmer markets here. And it's very popular here. I remember, people used to make fun of me because I used to go for gaming, and near our place there was a Nature's Fair, and I'd literally buy a sandwich, which was maybe like a Wonder Bread, size bread, very small, lettuce, tomato, cheese, and I'd be paying $12 for it because it was organic. And I'd get like a juice as well. Maybe it's like $8, or you're paying $20, and everyone else is like, hey, dude, you could buy a foot long at Subway for like less than half the price of that. But they're making money, right? Because
sketchy bread. It's sketchy bread. Subway.
Sketchy bread.
There's questions about what's in the bread.
Don't even get me started on Subway.
It's
harder. Like, you've got one job: make a good sandwich, make good bread. Like, what the?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, how else? Like, there's plastic or something in it. Like, how else do they keep it around sitting for 4 weeks? I mean, anyway, that's a different topic.
Baked bread is the best smell in the world, right? Like, baked breads and baked bread, those are the best smells. How do they get it wrong?
Yeah, exactly.
Short Subway.
CP, are you a fan of Organic Garage?
Man, Organic Garage is like the crazy girl you date when you're 18. You're sure you can fix her, and it's fun while it lasts, but ultimately you look back and go, what was I thinking? So Organic Garage as a business, high quality, good idea, good business model, doing organics with a price cut makes sense to me in a lot of ways. Here's the problem. It ran too hard, too fast, right? Sometimes you get these deal guys in that just say, if it can go up 1,000%, it should go up 1,000%. And if you look at the share chart of Organic Garage, this is exactly what happened. Went from 10 cents to $1, touched that buck, and then as soon as it hit the dollar, someone started selling and didn't stop until it went all the way back down to 35 cents. Now, for me, that 10 cents to 35 cents, those are the bag holders that are still holding on, hoping it's going to go back up. The inside guys to put this deal together, seems to me like they hightailed it and left those guys to sit. So is there an opportunity in getting in now? I think that if you look right now at Organic Garage from a fundamentals side of things, this is a $20 million business, $20 million for essentially 5 stores going to 7. I do know that they've had people come to them and say, hey, we'd like to run the board in the US, open up a ton of stores. Mm-hmm. I know that because I brought them one of those. And their preference was to do it slower, make sure that they're in control, not get ahead of their skis, and become a famous or infamous name rather than a famous name. They made one good move, which I think the market is still yet to reward, and that is they took out a small company that's making plant-based cheeses, which notoriously is difficult to do. They got Canada's preeminent cheesemaker, they got a TV chef, and they've put out these early products that by all reports are actually really good. Now, will they sell enough cheese to warrant a 5 times valuation from where the company is right now? Probably not. But if you look at all the other plant-based food companies out there, they're getting $100 million valuations out the gate. If you have some plant-based gummies, suddenly you're a $100 million company, even if those aren't on shelves anywhere, even if they taste like dirt when you buy them. The Beyond Meat copiers are, case in point here. So Organic Garage could catch a wave if those products kick out and make any sort of a run, and if people actually notice that they've done this. But as a 5-store going on 7-store organic grocery chain, $20 million valuation is probably close to justifiable, even though it's not a profitable business right now. They are putting their money into growth, so I'm not too worried about profit and loss. They did manage to raise some money through that big run up, and it's, for me, it's a wait and see. It's at a reasonable price now. You're a lot less risk than you would have if you were chasing the run.
Yeah, I would say my way of investing is like, I love grocery chains. I own stocks of Loblaw just because I shop there a lot. I used to go, like I said, to Nature's Fair and all these organic places. But the thing is, Loblaw, Superstore, like maybe not Walmart just yet, but Superstore now has their own organic section. And it's not just organic food, but they have a lot of the supplements and stuff, vitamins and supplements that I used to go to this store, like, Nature's Fair to buy. So I would say if you're a regular shopper of Organic Garage, if that's where you spend a lot of your money, I always, advocate buying shares of companies where you spend a lot of money. And I would say, that's probably what you'd want to do. But for me, I shop elsewhere. So I buy shares of that company. And I think going forward, that type of competition now, organic is big, right? It's getting huge. A lot of people are buying organic food, just a bit of macro thing. But, as the debt increases in the world, future generations and my generation will have to pay more taxes in order to get the same level of healthcare going forward. And a lot of people are now trying to stay healthy and remain healthy. And I think they're going to be looking at organic stuff going forward. So it's a big trend. I don't think it's over yet, but as Chris said, yeah, maybe wait and see.
Yeah.
One thing that's important, I think, about these guys is that they're going out there and selecting the products that they bring forward, right? One problem that you have in the big chain grocery stores is bullshit organic. That's something they can get away with right now. I slap a sticker on it. It's not certified, but say organic, and you can charge an extra $2 an apple. Organic Garage, at least what they've told me, is that they're putting a lot of effort into sourcing products from small batch retailers and manufacturers, which is probably why sometimes there's no product on the shelf. A lot easier to get product from ConAgra than it is from mom and pop's salmon jerky company. Once they're a little bit bigger, if they get to like 10 stores, then they get some real buying power, right? They get the opportunity to make mom and pop's salmon jerky company a legitimately profitable enterprise. So that builds more organic product, gets the shelves filled more, gives them more power on price, and expands that brand. Quite frankly, though, I'd like to see them expanding outward from Central Ontario. I think they have presence in Western Canada. That would be a big deal on the share price. If they had a plan to expand beyond that, that'd be a big deal on the share price. But right now it's kind of the shopping trolley wheels are turning, but the trolley's not moving forward.
I think BC would be a great place for it, honest to God, like it would fit. And the way they design their stores and the feel of them and everything else. And the other thing is, as a person going in there, I didn't even know they were publicly traded. I had no idea. And I think most people that go there have no idea, based on what you said, Chris, the size. Like, you go in there thinking, oh, what's this? You wouldn't even begin to think, oh, I can invest in it. I thought it was privately owned. Like I was told it was privately owned. So it's just an awareness thing.
Yeah.
I wanted to answer like the invest or not invest question in kind of a different way as well, where if, let's say, they do choose to go a different route where they franchise some of their places, it costs them 1.8 million to erect one of these 10,000 square feet stores. That's the capital investment and putting some inventory inside. Assuming the last 12 months, they made $30 million in sales with the 5 stores. That's about $6 million a store. They keep 20% of that as profit. We'll assume profit. That's 1.2 million each store as a franchisee. So you put in 1.8, and after assuming 1 year of operations, you get 1.2 million. You kind of compare that and say, like Chris is saying, if they had more storefronts, is it scalable for them to continue? And what kind of payback period do you get from each store? And the economies there are pretty tight for them to expand rapidly.
Yeah, this is the reason that they're in Central Ontario and expanding around there, is because they can have one distribution center servicing everything. If they do come out in BC, it's a much heavier lift. Yeah. But, hey, man, ride or die.
10 words or less. I got $2,500. 10 words or less, Vishal. What are you doing with OG?
Like I said, if you're someone who shops there regularly, and there's probably bonus perks and points, I would buy the stock just because I love the sector, and I think having something that's a grocery chain is a good value stock. Maybe Organic garage isn't technically a value because they don't pay dividends, but it's something, people are always going to be buying groceries. And I think the run for organic food is going to continue. I
All right,
would look for.
wait. I got to cut you off because that was 70 words and I asked for 10.
My bad.
TK, 10 words or less.
I would buy because I like the business model.
CP,
I'd hold off. I'm looking at the volume over the last couple of months, and it has really fallen off. The share price seems to have solidified, so there's probably a lot of true believers that are hanging in, but I don't see that moment yet where it's due for a run. I think maybe they're going to like hold their ankles for a couple of months, let the dust settle, and then maybe make a charge.
all right. That's CP down there. That's TK up there. And that's Vishal way up there. And you should listen to them. But when you're making your investment decisions, you have to make them yourself. This is just education and some guidance. Of course, past performance does not guarantee future results, nor does what these guys have to say, although it's very enjoyable and educational. This has been the old Organic Garage on the Equity Guru Roundtable. Catch you on the next one.